Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? So, jumping in here real quick, just with one of those moments of pause, as I would say, right? Moments of pause to sit back and reflect, right? Reflect on life, right? Life as we see it, as we know it, as we move, elevate, and even reshape certain things in our life, right? And when it comes down to it, as I would say, as I would use as reference, for example, right? What is the purpose? What is the purpose for you, right? Because one of the things anybody can easily overlook, right, is how important we are individually, if I'm making sense. And the overwhelming, sometimes even chaoticness to how little or how often, if I can say, right, one knows, learns, appreciates, and even takes into consideration certain things for ourselves, what we need, what we want, what we have, and how we can move forward, right? How we can make or break it, right? Or even how we can make certain things or blend certain things to create a new vision, right? Create a new picture, image, to create a new display, if I'm making sense. And when you think about it, right, when you take that time and you reflect, right, you go over the day, you go over the week, you go over a month or even a year, right? You go over a moment of time, a moment of experience, a moment of present evaluations, right? And for what it's worth, for what's done, for the accuracy in it, right? Taking that time to catch your breath, taking that time to reflect, taking that time to recuperate your energy, right? Your mind, your spirit, your soul, your happiness, your joys, your inspirations, your enthusiasms, your multitudes, right, that you can carry within you, right? When you talk about feelings, when you talk about emotions, or even ideas or goals or thoughts that you have, right? There's so many different ways that we can tap into ourselves, to know ourselves, to explore the experience, as I say, right? And when we're experiencing through our exploring, how do we sit back? When do we sit back to reflect, right? To appreciate with gratitude. If one can follow, right, the method of thoughts here, right? Appreciation and gratitude for self. So we do this, right? And no matter how cliche or even redundant, unnecessary, or even untrained one can be in that mindset, right? Who's to say you can't pick it up, right? Who's stopping one from accepting this allowance, right? Where who knows, right? Who knows you better than you? As I always explain for me, right? Nobody knows me better than me. Why? Because I'm with me 24/7, you know? And granted, even with certain shared moments, certain shared experiences, right? You still have you fully to deal with. And your marks, your points, your checks and balances, your disciplinary motives, right, are yours and yours alone. So, the moment to sit back, to reflect, right, whether you even did a thing, right, and going into accepting where you are, right, any moment, any step, any thoughts that you have, and you know for you, right, that you're making a change, you're making a difference, you're implementing a new wave, a new cycle, a new elevation to you, right? The truth in it will always be shown, right? The truth in sincerely working on self and improving self and even say starting over, right? Starting all the way over and completely changing, revamping, reshaping, remolding you, right? That process, that time, that energy, that intention, that patience that you have, right? That goes into each step, that goes into each, okay, I know I don't really want to, right? But I still gotta keep going. Or, I've been doing it for a couple of days. I've been giving it the chance of trying. And haven't I done enough? Right? You get those moments of frustration, of should I finish? Right? And those blocks, right? That hesitation, that fear sometimes even when it comes up, right? How do we deal with it? How do we choose to express certain moments, right? When we are trying a new thing, when we are improving self, right? And I, as I would say, when we're restricting to discipline, right? Because certain times we have to restrict ourselves, right? Certain times we have to agree that for something new, how much of the old can be transferred, right? How much of the first version of me, the younger version of me, right, compared to the new, mature version of me? How does the measurements of keeping and improving versus going to the drawing board and really coming up with a whole new idea of plan, right? When we move in such a way to, I'm gonna keep saying change, right? Or improve self or apply another stream of character, right? When we're going through that, when we're aligning ourselves with this mindset to start out a blueprint, right, to what we're going to do for ourselves and how we're going to get certain things started and how we can set a plan to make sure, right, that it is not only being started, but it's continuing, right? And with so many choices, with so many options, where do you go, right? How can one decide, right? And for me, moments of reflection, right? You have to just sit back and really think on a thing, right? Really use the muscles and the mind, right? Give the mind a workout. If I'm making sense, right? Put certain weights, right? Certain compounds into the mind, right? So there's a challenge, right? And with that challenge, the muscle, right, that we already have, that we already use, right, in our everyday to day. How do we strengthen the muscles, right? We have to work them out, right? And we have to build up the intensity, right? And we have to baby step it sometimes, right? We can't go full throttle. We can't get to the 500-pound weight system, right? We gotta go with the 5 pounds, right? And sometimes we will have to get to 3 pounds, right? We have to start where we are in all ways, right? We have to know where we are so that we can start where we are, so that when we do add to improve, when we do work to improve, right? When we do moments of reflection, it's a process that is more easy, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, it's more easy to focus and agree with self, right? Because I don't know, just me, right? This is just me, but sometimes you gotta have those pep talks with yourself, right? You got to be your own cheerleading team, right? You have to be your own motivational speaker, right? And is the work always going to be done when it's easy? Of course not, right? Is the work always going to be ready to take action on if certain things are displayed as if it's an option, right? And yeah, we all want options, we all want choices so that we can decide. Yet, when it comes to you, right, when it comes to aligning into something new, right, how can you do it? How can you maneuver it? How does that work? Right? You can have to go to that moment of reflection, right? And ask those questions and know for sure, right? Do I work better under pressure? Right? Do I need a aggressive, so to speak, reminder? Or am I more of a soft spoken, right? More of a conversationalist, right? Where are you, right? And you have to know these things. So, again, matching to meet you, to meet yourself where you are so that the smoothness in rearranging or finding the focus, finding the discipline, finding that way to incorporate and keep up motivation. I don't know, right? Again, it's just me, just my thoughts, just how I see some things, right? And I'm in my moments of reflection, right? I'm in the mental space of reflecting on my own movements, right? My own actions, my own ways of aligning self to the new wave, to the new elevation, to the new momentum that I'm growing to, right? That I'm balancing within so that the comfortableness is just an ongoing source, right? So, again, taking that time, taking that moment to reflect. Where are you at? What are your streams, right? For making sure that the focus is there, right? And keeping up certain moments where you can become exhausted, right? You can become overwhelmed, right? Because who doesn't get to certain points of enough is enough, right? In in our everyday lives, right? How can we not get there sometimes when we are so busy and focused on all things outside, right? All sources outside, whether it's jobs, family, cars, clothes, right? We got all this energy and focus on everything outside of us, outside of me. Yet, when it comes to me, when it comes to ourselves, do we take that time to reflect to say, okay, I know I'm working on a thing. Am I doing it? Am I making sure that each day I'm adding something new, right? Or I'm taking off certain responsibilities that I don't need, right? I'm making certain responsibilities a responsibility, right? Or I'm extending services where I could be already finished, right? And I can move to the next thing. Whatever we're doing, right? Wherever we're at, that moment of reflection, how are you, right? Where are you? Is the goals being noted, documented, and put into action, right? Moments of reflection. We all can take the time for this, right? We all should take the time for this, in my opinion, where and get to a point, right, that it's something as easy as knowing how to count, right? Or waking up and knowing that it's the AM versus the PM, right? If you see sun out, it's the daytime, right? Versus if you don't see the sun, it's nighttime, right? Just again, certain points of your life, certain moments of reflection to keep benefits, bring in benefits, or even improve the benefits, right? When we allow ourselves to get swept up in doing things, enjoying things, and even experiencing and exploring life, right? There's so much that we accumulate, there's so much that we take in, there's so much information that's being transmitted, transferred, expressed, and again, moments of reflection, right? Where am I on the grid? Where am I on that meter to measure my purpose, right? So, again, when it comes down to it, taking time to reflect for self, on self. Where are we, right? Where are you? Where am I, right? Where do we all fit on this equation? Where are we going? What are we doing? What do we need? What do we want? And how do we get there, right? Taking that pause, taking that moment, and even taking that breath to say, okay, let me ask, right? Let me check in. Let me finalize to complete. If I'm making sense, if I'm making sense. But with that, I didn't want to be alone. Just wanted to flow a vibe, right? And see where it goes, and to add on, right? Just really quick before I slide out. Remember that you, yes, yes, you, right? You're never alone, right? And as I would say, for those that know, they know, right? Shout out to y'all. But for me to you, right? Keep in mind, keep the awareness, keeping the heart open to receive, right? You're never alone. You're always appreciated. You're always loved. You're always cherished. And your value is always valuable, no matter what. Always, in all ways. And even when we hear it, even when we don't hear it, right? Sometimes, for our own reasons, right? No matter what it is, we can forget that. We can overlook that. We can even mistake it for something that it's not, right? So, no matter where you are, and no matter the challenge that's still needed, that's still left for you to accomplish and overcome, and as you sit back to reflect, and even when, right, even when you don't think it, just know, right, the actions you're taking are being noted, right, and they're being appreciated. When in each moment we all take account for how much we do, how much we bring, and how much we share, hopefully first to ourselves, right, and adding and extending and bridging, right, those connections and that energy and that warmth of value to others, right? Again, certain times it may get appreciated, it may not, it might get overlooked, it might not, right? And sometimes we see it, right? Sometimes we feel it, sometimes we hear it, and as much as we want to shake it off and keep going, right? It can hit, right? It can affect, right? To cause a effect, right? And sometimes even when we don't want it or don't like it, we gotta appreciate the simplest facts of it's life, right? And what do I mean? When we get to that understanding, right, that we are here for that experience, right? And on that journey, in our experience, and as we're exploring, we go through things, we feel things, we act to react, and even enact for a response, right? And that goes And that goes and that goes, right? That whole domino effect. So, again, bringing back to the point of the message, no matter what, even when it's not felt, heard, or seen, just know for you, just feel it for you, just accept it for you, right? And so, each day, each night, go ahead, get that mirror, look into that mirror, smile, and say, you're appreciated, you're loved, and you're valued. And if no one says it, I have, and that's what matters. And with that, remember that self love is our best love. And as we continue to self grow, self heal, and self love, we will elevate to that self mastery. And always know, always remember, you are awesome. Shout out to you. And remember, you're always loved and you're always appreciated. Until next time, keep grinding, keep working, and keep doing you to the fullest, unapologetically. You. Peace out.